Welcome to Relationship. And today I have again another great topic. But first of all, let me introduce myself. For those of you that don't know me, I am Stefania Pulio from the Gentleman Square, and I am a men's love and relationship coach and hypnotherapist. And today we are going to be speaking about how well how well do you know your significant other? And if you're watching, please let us know that you're in the audience. Give us a hashtag live, or if you're watching on the replay, hashtag replay. But we have some juicy topics to talk about. And how do we get to really know our significant other? And do you still feel like you're in a relationship and you feel like things are in the air between you and your significant other just because you still don't know how she thinks or he thinks? Are you struggling with being vulnerable, with vulnerability and intimacy in the actual relationship? And if you're not quite sure where you stand, if you don't, if you're not quite sure if you really know your significant other well enough, well, then this is the conversation you have to join into today. So I have a guest, of course, and today, I'm sure you know her if you've been following me. Also on my other podcast that I co-host with the lovely Zanetta Wooden. That's right, from Fun Fresh Fridays. So she is here to join me and talk about how well do you know your significant other. So let me pop her on. And welcome, Zanetta.
Hello, Stefania.
How
It's
are
been a
you today?
it's been a long day.
It's been a long day? Oh, wow.
It has been. It has been.
Well, it's been a while since we've seen you, Zanetta. I've
I
missed you.
know. I missed you too. I missed you. I
And
miss you.
yes, we were anxiously waiting for you last week, but then, you weren't well, so here you are this week. So
Yes.
welcome. Welcome back.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So unfortunately, I wound up contracting COVID.
Oh, I know. I know. How horrible.
It it was horrible. It
Oh,
was horrible. It was a horrible experience. I'm still
yes.
suffering, the side effects, but I'm good. I'm glad, Um,
Well, you look wonderful, by the
thank you.
way, even though you've had a not a very good experience, but you actually look slimmer too.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, that's great. Well, today we have a hot, juicy topic to talk
Mhm.
about. How well do you know your significant other?
Oh.
When you're in that, well, it doesn't matter. You don't necessarily have to be, in the beginning stage
Mhm.
of a relationship. Regardless if you're in a new relationship or if you're in a long-term relationship, you've been with this person for a while, there are many ways to get to know each other better. And I always think and believe that you never stop, knowing more about your partner each and every day. Like, really know it, asking deep intentional questions to really know what, makes them tick and what
Mhm.
actually ticks them off. Because, they're the important ones as well, right?
Oh, yes. To know what ticks them off is always important.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, yeah. So, what do when we talk about how well do you know your significant other? I mean, and this is a pretty broad, you know, I guess, statement or question, I should say,
Mhm.
because it covers many areas of getting to know in all areas, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, wouldn't you
Mhm.
say?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you really take a look at, because we're talking about our significant other,
Right.
our, whether it be our spouse or whether it be a fiance or boyfriend, or we call them friends.
Inverted
Uh,
commas.
yes, quotation there, quotations. Um, you have to really take a look at yourself, and you don't really reveal a whole lot of you to the individual, whether you've been together a month, a year, 10 years. There's a whole lot of you that you hold back because there's something called, um, you don't want the other person to look at you in a different light because of what you're capable of, or what you used to do, or who you used to be. So you don't divulge those information. So if you don't do it, I'm pretty sure they're doing the same thing.
Mm.
That, in other words, they have skeletons in their closet that they don't want you to open. So yeah, that's it's just the trust factor has to come in,
Mhm. Mhm.
and trust, it takes a while to build,
It
a
does.
really long time.
So when you say a long time, what's a long time for you, Zanetta? Like what do you
Um, I would have to know, because we suffer a lot of traumas in our relationships, starting from our first crush, back in back in grade school, and high school, middle school, and then high school, and then so on and so forth. So we have a lot of traumas, and because we've revealed so much, we don't want that trauma again. We don't want that hurt.
Mm.
Uh, so we don't. That trust needs to be built back up because of the trauma, the hurt. You know, uh, in order for someone to really understand or get who I am, I'm gonna give you little tidbits. Yeah, just to see the reaction. And I'll say something. Oh, guess what Stefania did today? And if the reaction is, well, it's good. I'm like, oh, whew, because I did it too.
So it's okay, right?
Yes. But then if the reaction is, what? Oh, I'm I'm not going to cross that bridge anytime soon, because it's a sore subject with the individual that I'm with, and I don't want that to. We have all that. We all do. Even with our parents, we don't want our parents to know certain things that we do or we're capable of, because we don't want them to hurt, or we don't want the rejection.
Mm.
We don't want to hear the lecture, so
Yeah.
to speak.
So say for example, that's the case, but you want to really get to know your other, half or your significant other better.
Hmm.
And I mean, there's ways of doing that, right? Without, what would you say the ways are? Like like,
Well, you first have to be vulnerable.
mm,
You have to be the first one to open that door. You can't wait for that door to open. So when you become vulnerable, and what is vulnerability? What is it?
mm-hmm,
Vulnerability is a place where you're not in control.
mm,
You don't know what the reaction is going to be. You don't know how they're going to handle you. That you don't know if it's going to hurt the individual, or if it's going to hurt you. So you're in that state of, I just don't know what's going to happen. But in that state of vulnerability, you're showing a little bit of you. just a little bit of you, and to let your significant other know, I'm willing to open up. And when you do, I mean, don't bombard them. Yeah, here's everything that I did in the past. No, you just do it in small increments. You have to open that door first.
Yeah.
You have to be vulnerable first.
Yeah, I really believe that because and if because you're also showing that other person that it's okay to be vulnerable. I think like
Yes.
just allowing that space. But sometimes, I'm not sure if this has ever happened to you, you actually have gotten vulnerable, and that person can't handle your vulnerability. Then what?
Yeah.
It's like, oh boy, what's happening here?
Yeah. And you have to let them take it in their time, in their moment.
Mm,
Because being vulnerable also means allowing the other person time
mm,
to whatever the information is to sink in, for them to be able to digest it, for them to be able to wrap their minds around it. Just give them time. When you show vulnerability, it shows that um, you are entrusting your heart blindly
mm.
to this individual.
Yeah, yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, vulnerability is definitely a big part of it, isn't it? And we we do we learn vulnerability? Well, how do we, you know, get in touch with our vulnerability?
No, well, actually, we're taught the opposite. We're taught you need to be in control. You know, you can't let you can't let them see you sweat. I mean, there's so many things that growing up, uh, you know, even the songs that we listen to, "Big Girls Don't Cry."
Mm,
Um, it, so there's a lot of the environment that we grow up in and we're taught because of pain, because of the hurt, the trauma that we're trying to avoid. We now put a blind eye to it, and now we build that wall. We build that wall of, I need to be in control. I can't let anybody see me cry. I have to show up, strong, uh, like I have it all together. Kind of. So we're not taught it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to not have it all together.
mm.
It's okay to, you know, um, not be in control. It is okay.
Yeah, I think so because I think yeah, you're right there, and social media and peer group pressure and everything, the pressure that's being put on us about being perfect, having the perfect life, having the perfect lifestyle, having the perfect body, having everything perfect, having everything under control. It's actually destroying us, I think, and it is destroying, possibly destroying and not building relationships. Would you go as
Yeah,
far as saying that?
yeah, yeah. Because what you're doing is you're creating a facade, you're creating this individual that doesn't exist.
Mm,
Because this individual actually has fears, when they're acting like they have it all together, or they're so in chaos on the inside, acting like they are in control.
mm.
So I have a 10-year-old who's watching me, and she always says, "Mom, what's your life going to be about?"
Is that what she asks you?
She always asks, "What are you going to talk about?" And so I'll talk about it, and I'll discuss it with her. And I am so blessed to have this second chance to be able to show what vulnerability looks like, what when um, when you lose it, it's okay, and explain why you lost it, or why you're crying, or why you're frazzled. But because growing up, I don't know about you, I never saw my mom or my dad fight.
Never. Did you ever see your mum cry or your
No,
dad cry?
no,
Wow.
yeah, no, never saw them. I never saw her cry. Never heard them argue, raise their voice to each other. Never heard it. So, um, so here we are, kids, thinking that it's a perfect marriage, or it's. I mean, in my mind, it's mom and dad, because I know, I I know, you know, what my dad was doing, so I know it's not good. But um, but the family dynamics, from looking from the outside in, we were the family to model.
The
You know,
family to what? Sorry?
model. We were the idolized,
Oh, really?
or the model family.
Interesting.
Far
Interesting.
from it.
Yes. Yeah. It's
Far from it.
quite interesting, isn't it? And I think too, when we look at stars and celebrities and people up in a high profile image, they're they're put on these pedestals, I guess, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
And really, we've got to really understand and know that they're just average, normal people like you and I, when they're not doing whatever they're doing, whether they're acting, singing, or being a
Yeah.
politician or whatever. Um, they are living and feeling like everybody else.
Yeah. What do we usually say? Or not, I don't say it. Um, but what do you hear when people um, have a brush with the celebrity, or have all of a sudden they see the celebrity and they're riding the train, or they're in a coach in an airplane. What do they always say? Oh, they're just like you and me. They're human beings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. When
Yeah,
weren't they, right?
exactly.
When weren't
Yeah,
they?
exactly. So they do the same thing. I mean, if you take a look at celebrity lives, those that are in the public eye,
Mm.
they have issues, just
Oh, I
like
know.
you and I,
Absolutely. If not more.
if not more.
If
Right, if
not
not more.
more. If not
Yeah,
more. And,
yeah,
talking about celebrities and how well do you know your significant other? I mean, some have been in a lot of, marriages, relationships, even. And so, uh, do you know? Do they get caught up in that, not knowing that partner well enough before marrying them, or whatever? I mean, I think
mhm,
we're always evolving. I think we're always growing.
yes,
We're always transforming. So we have to move, because we're morphing into different beings all the time, I think, and we're shedding also as we're growing. And if we're in that developmental stages of our lives,
mhm,
particularly spiritually, we are peeling back, we are removing the layers. So we can be with someone, and then all of a sudden this person is working on themselves, and you can say, I've heard this happen quite a bit, where a partner is watching their partner, their significant other, develop, change, grow, transform, and say, I never knew that. Like, I didn't know that about them, or they're not the same person.
mhm, yeah,
So we really have to allow for that transformation. We have to allow for that growth. And I guess it's a reflection even on us, isn't it? Because if we're then observing this and they're a reflection of us, there's a lot to be said about ourselves too. I mean, there's a lot of questions that can be answered there just by observing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. So if we allow growth to happen, there's certain things that I tell my classmates, or I tell my brothers and my sister, I'm not that same Zanetta. I don't know which decade of Zanetta you're stuck on, but I'm not that. I've evolved, I've changed, because of certain things that we come to terms with ourselves. And once we come to terms with ourselves, then we grow. Once I always admit, uh, and my husband always, just shakes his head. But I admit, I am geographically challenged. You can't tell. I, I just despise it when they say, "Oh, I'm going northeast." What? It seems like I'm going south, but you say north. Okay. I'm just that way. Even in the map,
Mhm.
I'm so sorry. I don't know. I thought Ohio was like, somewhere, underneath. I can't remember what I thought where I thought Ohio was, but then when I looked at it on the map, I was like, really? It's closer to the East Coast? What? I thought it was in Midwest. They do claim to be Midwest,
Right,
but Ohio is East.
right.
I'm like, see, you guys are messing with my already challenged, you know. So I've come to terms with that. And when I know, I know. So I use my GPS. I'm not ashamed about it. You don't know how to go to the store? No.
Right. Well, that's why we have GPSs on our phones now, right?
Yes, yeah.
To
I'm
li
not ashamed. So when you come to terms with something about you that people expect to be good, yeah, it's so easy. It is so easy. Oh yeah, well you can think that I know everything, but I don't. I am actually really dumb on certain geography is one of them. Don't ask me any geography questions. So when you come to terms as to where you're lacking, or you're not so perfect, or not so um, talented in, life becomes easier.
Yeah. So I guess it's just a matter of just accepting and saying it's okay.
It is okay.
And really, can we be perfect at everything?
No.
No. And that's, I think, something that's so ingrained in us to be that perfection, have that perfection in everything. And it,
Hmm.
like I said, it is really, it is destroying. It's self-destructive,
It is.
and it can be also in relationships, because I think sometimes we can get caught up being that person that we're not. We're trying to be what we think that other person wants us to be.
Hmm.
And, there have been cases where, people have shared with me they've been with someone for so many years, only to find out that they didn't like something about that person, but would never say, or there was a behavior that really ticked them off, but wouldn't say. And
Hmm.
I think what happens when it's not expressed and it's not, shared
Hmm.
authentically, lovingly, compassionately, that's when the problems start. Because it's like this volcano, isn't it? That's erupting inside.
Hmm.
And, eruption, eruption, eruption. And one day that crater is going to pop. And I think that's what we're like as, human beings. when we're not releasing, we're not expressing, we're not asking questions, we're not being curious about the other person, or being honest and saying, there's some questions you'd like to ask you. Somehow people are afraid to do that. They're afraid.
Yeah.
They're afraid of getting that no.
Yeah.
And even if you do get a no, so what? That's okay. That person's entitled to say no
Right.
as well.
Yes.
So there's this acceptance, really, to allow that person to be who they are. And of course, in the interim, if it doesn't suit you, you're also entitled to move on
Yeah.
or do whatever
Yeah.
you want to do, right?
Right. 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 So, what do we expect from others to accept who we are? And we also need to do the same to the others. We need to accept who they are. There's certain things, there's certain quirks, there's certain um, little habits that just irks me. One
One.
of them,
Yes, please share.
one of them is biting the nails and then biting it in, and you hear the
Oh no.
drives me nuts.
Really?
Oh my gosh, it drives me nuts. But then all I'll say is stop biting your nails. What is going on that is making you bite your nails?
Mm.
Well, no, I have a snag right here. I said, well, I could have just filed
Found
it.
it.
And it's
Mm.
like, oh, okay, well, here, okay.
Yes.
So there's that communication, kind of thing. Um, but then I'll see him doing it again. Or I'll hear. I didn't see him, but I'll hear the. It's like, are you chewing on your nails? He was like, yep. He's like, are you that hungry that you needed a snack? I can get you something from the refrigerator. I can get you something from the kitchen if you want. I think it's a lot better than that
Yeah.
enamel that you're
That's
chewing on.
habit. That's habit. That is real.
Yeah,
That's habitual. And it
yeah.
might be something that triggers him off in thinking and then automatically go into a habit of, biting. Hello, Jim. How are
Hello,
you?
Jim.
Welcome. Welcome. Hashtag live, he says. So knowing your significant other. So what would you say um, what are the kind of questions, you know, would you, when you're either getting to know someone or even after you've been with someone for a while, because sometimes you've been with someone for a while and there's questions you've not really delved in and you want to go a little bit deeper, or you felt that the questions weren't appropriate at that stage of your relationship, but now that you know each other more, the second phase, third phase, or whatever. um, yeah. What? How do you go about it? Like, because sometimes you have people that don't like being asked questions. I mean, I've known of
Hmm.
people too just say, "Don't ask me that." Actually, I
Oh,
remember one time a friend, a very close friend, and he would say, "Stop asking why. You don't need to want to know why. Stop asking why." It's like, I'm a why person. I'm a why person. I've always been a why person. I'm curious. I want to know. I learn. My mind boggles. And it's just how I process things. You can either be a why, a what person, or how to do it, That too, I'm a bit of a how. But initially, I'm a what, a why, sorry. Why is this happening? Why? Because for me,
hmm.
that's my processing.
Oh, I get to know a little bit more about Stefania.
Yes, there you go. And everybody else out there.
Yes. So here's what I learned in psychology. When a person says, "Don't ask me why," it's because they don't know why either.
Mm, there you
They
go.
don't know. They don't know the answer. So it frustrates them because they don't know how to articulate, actually. They know the why, they just don't know how to articulate it. They just don't know. They just do it. I just do it. That's the answer. It's
Mm,
because, so when those are the answers, is because they themselves don't know. They don't know how to express it as to why they do it.
mm,
They just did it automatically, as so they think, as so they say. Um, but a better way to sometimes, the why is such a broad, why do you do this? Why do you bite your nail? I don't know. I just bite it. But if you change the question and you kind of pivot a little bit,
mm.
when did you start biting your nail? Do you recall? So then they'll start to think, huh, I don't know. I don't know why. Does all of your family bite their nail? So now yes, you're starting to push it away from a personal to now it's a action, not personal. You're biting your nail, you know. So it takes it away. Once you take that away and let them see it in a different light, then they'll start to answer the question as to why.
Mhm. Yes, 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 yes. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, that's quite. So, does not knowing your significant other spell doom for the relationship, would you say?
No, it doesn't. I don't think it spells doom.
Mhm.
I think it spells a journey. I think it spells uncharted territory that is so mysterious, is so exciting
Mm,
to get to know this individual in different parts of their lives. So yeah, no, it doesn't spell doom. If you take a look at it differently, well, if you take a look at it as, well, I don't really know you, or I really didn't know you, then it becomes a negative tone.
mm.
But if you turn it around and you use it in a different, put on different lens, put on different glasses. Wow, I didn't know that about you. Totally different. I didn't know you like to DJ. Yes, Jeff DJs. And I heard that conversation between him and his work college buddies,
Uh-huh.
and they called him Jazzy Jeff.
Jazzy Jeff.
I
Wow.
said, "What?" I said, "Wait a minute," because there's a TV show here a long time ago called The Fresh Prince of Bel Air, which is Will Smith, and
Oh,
Will Smith's best buddy is Jazzy Jeff, and Jazzy Jeff is
a DJ.
a DJ. So I said, Jazzy Jeff, wait a minute. Why do you call him this A personality, uptight, everything? Oh yeah. Oh, he was DJ. What?
A
Yeah,
different person, a,
a different. So
a
it
DJ,
becomes,
right?
yeah, it becomes like, whoa, okay, who is this person? And now becomes like, wow,
Hmm,
I
interesting.
would like to
Yes.
explore a little bit more.
About Jazzy Jeff.
Jazzy, yeah, Jazzy Jeff, yeah.
Yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
that's true actually, because you can't reveal everything all in one go. Like, as you get to know someone, it's fun too, exploring,
Yes.
peeling back
Yeah.
the layers and see, oh my God, I never knew you did that. Oh wow. And that's also very exciting. And I think too, oh, I had something I was going to say earlier. Oh yeah, that's right. Because I went to a coaching program many years ago, and I remember the facilitator that was taking the course, and he was there speaking and spoke a little bit about himself. And he says, "You know what? I've been married 25 years, I've been, she's a wonderful woman. I love my wife, blah, blah, blah. He said, and I never say, I know my wife. Never, ever say, I know her. Because the minute you say, I know what she's going to do, or I know what she's all about, I know exactly how she's thinking. He said, that's when you pretty much, blow your relationship because you don't ever stop knowing, whether it be your wife, significant other, lover, whatever, you never ever stop knowing. So the worst thing you can say is, I know what you're going to do. I know everything. I know how you think. No. Or I know everything about my wife. No.
Yes.
Never say that about, or I know everything about my boyfriend, because that's the minute your relationship will start going for a dive, because there isn't that stimulation, that curiosity of knowing, oh, what's she going to do next? Or, sometimes you're with someone and they're a bit quirky, or they're a bit mysterious or adventurous, and they got you on their toes all the time. I mean, have you ever been with someone like that? It's fun, isn't it? Right?
Yes.
Sometimes annoying because you get really like big surprises that you didn't want a surprise right now. You want that type of surprise right now. But it's fun. It's stimulating. It's adventurous. It's, like
Yes.
you said, it's not doom at all if you
No.
don't think you know your significant other. And I think this is why I really wanted to talk about this today, because if you are in a relationship that, has been, I don't know, how many years, 3 years, 10 years, 7 years, 20 years, 3 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even if it's that early stages of romance, of relationship, getting to know someone, keep it exciting, keep it stimulating, keep it, of that knowing, not knowing factor always going, because that's what's going to keep that relationship alive. That's what's
Yeah.
going to give you that drive to want to know more about
Yes.
about this special person in your life. And the fact that you are still with them, there's something there. There's something holding you together. And why not rekindle it?
Right. Right. You hear a lot of stories of couples that have been married for so long. I mean, so many years, and then the significant other passes away.
Mm,
And the the person who is the survivor, or the one who's left, will start to do certain things that you never
in a million years thought they would do.
do.
I know.
Yes.
I know. I've
Yes.
seen
You,
that.
you you're like, whoa, are you grieving? Are you? And the person's
Or
like, no,
celebrating.
I've always wanted to do this.
Mm,
So when you get to that point, I mean, you have to ask yourself, did you want it to do it by yourself? Or did you want to do it with your significant other?
mm,
So if this was something that you always wanted to do, tell it afraid rather than waiting for the significant other to be gone and then do it. You know, um, there's so many things that I wanted to do that I was afraid to do, and we had that conversation. Jeff and I have that conversation. I asked him, "What is the one thing that you wanted to do but afraid to do?"
mm.
And he was like, um, well, I always wanted to, I was like, well, let's try it. Really?
Yeah. Yes. Really.
Why not? Why
Right.
not? You know, um, so there's that level of um, communication and vulnerability that you have to do in order to um, you know peel that, like what you said, this peeling, peel it, peel it. And sometimes you surprise yourself that you're able to do certain things that you never thought you would ever do
Mm,
because your significant other does it. You
mm,
know, so I never thought in a million years that I would get up on a plane, in an airplane. He's the pilot, and then he turns it over to me. I'm always thinking that I'm going to be the passenger, not holding on to, no. But he gave it to me, and I was like, take it back, take it back. So, um, but that adrenaline, that feeling that, wow, I was able to do this,
mm.
just certain things that you're open to. Yeah.
Yeah,
Starts with the conversation.
definitely. And there are questions. There are so many questions. And I might even put a cheat sheet together actually to for the audience. If anyone's interested, let me know. And I will send you a great cheat sheet of, getting to know your significant other more through questions. And you can treat
Yeah.
it like a game as well. It can
Mhm.
be fun. Even have those questions in like a little basket or something, fold them up. And what's that game called where you pull out little notes and questions? I don't know. Is there a special name
Yeah.
for it?
I don't think so. I don't. What? Dare?
No,
Truth or dare? I don't know.
well, you can turn it into truth or dare, can you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I just really want to talk about how to ask these questions, right?
Mhm.
Because sometimes we don't, we have questions that we want to ask, but we don't know how to ask these questions. And whilst the questions seem straightforward, there's sometimes a few different ways that you can actually ask them because knowing your partner, your partner might be sensitive, your partner might not understand, you know, the way you put in the question across. So, a few points here. Okay, we're encouraging you to ask questions. We're encouraging you to have these conversations with your significant other. Um, and possibly, I always say, don't be in an environment that you're both, being something in a neutral environment. Would you say, Zanetta? Like that it's,
I like to ask Jeff questions when we're on the road.
uh-huh, while he's
When
driving.
we're driving. When it's a long drive. More than 45 minutes. um,
So it gives him a
and
lot
that's
to answer.
yes, because some of the questions that I
Mm,
have had asked Jeff were had to pertain to my insecurities
mhm,
and with his relationships with his previous wives.
mhm,
I needed to know, um, you know, what are some of the things um, that I do that the exes did that he does not like.
mm,
So those are some of the questions because it it had to deal with my insecurities and having talking about being in a relationship for a long time and you don't know your significant other. I was married for 25 years and I didn't know who I was married to. It was what you're so it becomes a like a all of a sudden your whole world, the 25 years of building this relationship crumbles. It now in your mind it's a lie. In your mind it's, oh my gosh, how can I not have seen this? um, so there was a lot of hurt, even though that was not true. The relationship, there was some truth to it. It wasn't all a lie. you know um, how he became like the person that he is. I hope he changed. I don't know. I don't want to reveal anything of that. Um, so I don't know when. I don't know when it started or how he became this person. Um, so in thinking that, when I came into relationship with Jeff, I'm now thinking, okay, is this same thing's gonna happen? you know, what are your, you know, without saying too much, um, what is your view on relationship? You know, what is your view on stepping out of a relationship? What is your view on it's okay to flirt with somebody while in a relationship? What is your view on still texting? You know, old flings and
Mm.
I want to know your view. So when we have that conversation, then my insecurities are now. I'm like, oh, okay, 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 okay.
Right. Well, it gives you a better understanding, doesn't it? Like
Yes.
you're asking for a reason, and even if it is insecurities, that's being aware of what you're feeling, and you're sharing that with your significant other, and it's
Mhm.
okay. I mean, everybody has them. It's not
Yeah.
like there's no one out there, you would say, that hasn't got insecurities. And I think too, it's also showing that you're really caring and you really are serious with this person. This is important, and
Mhm.
I strongly believe it's an important conversation to have, and it enables your significant other to even have that conversation with you.
Yeah.
To not so much put your head at rest, because he's just saying it how it is for him, and this is his truth. So now it's back on you. It's up to you to, take that for
That's,
honest truth, or if
mhm.
you're going to continue being insecure, that's your problem now. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And but at least you've given that person, you know, your view and the space for themselves to express themselves, and then you do what you want to do with the information, right?
Yeah. Yeah. There's this saying here in the U.S. that I really don't like. We can agree to disagree.
No, that explain that. That doesn't really make sense, doesn't it? We agree to disagree, or we
Yeah.
disagree to agree.
Oh, we're agreeing that we disagree.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what that means. We are agreeing that we disagree with whatever topic it is.
Mm,
Um, and I never understood that, and I still don't understand it, um, because if there's a level of, I mean, disagreement, there's nobody's bending, nobody's compromising, nobody's, well, I understand your side. I can see,
mm.
that's, yeah, I can see your point of view, and I can understand why you would have that point of view. That means you have some understanding. But if you totally disagree,
Right.
even in the understanding, oh, I disagree. Oh, no, I don't understand that. Oh, no, I can't see that. Then there's no conversation. It's just a one way.
Yes, I agree. I agree. And it's also, it doesn't leave room for flexibility, like you said, to have
Yeah,
understanding, or, to even say, well, yeah, that's fine. I can try and understand your point of view. I
yeah,
find I challenge myself to see it like that, but I could possibly see it like that, or yeah, it is a funny term, isn't it? And it can leave a
yeah,
bad taste, I think, in someone's, perception. So
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So asking questions.
So
And
what are those questions?
what are
What
those
are what are
questions?
what are what
Well,
are some of the questions?
I think some of the questions, or it's more so even how to ask them,
Hmm.
I think, which is more important. I mean, you have to let me know if you want the cheat sheet for the questions to ask, but asking the
Yeah.
questions exactly as they are.
Mm.
from your heart.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
You know, because if you're following a blueprint, that blueprint may not be yours. So it's not going to come across in a way which is genuine, authentic, loving, compassionate, or whichever way you want it to come through, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think asking the questions exactly as they are and being honest, maybe explaining like you did with Jeff, you know, this is about my insecurities. So I just, you know, this is about me and this is why I'm asking.
Mm-hmm.
Do what you want with them, but you know, take it as you want. But this
Right.
is about me. So be very open and honest. Ask the questions exactly as they are. Don't tippy toe play mind games. I think that's the worst thing you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Mind games. Two, have a conversation about the questions. Right? There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong. You know, that's a good conversation starter.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. You know, having a conversation of, what's the deal breaker?
Yes. So
You
that way,
know.
you know, yeah, and there's no room for guessing, right? It's
Mm.
just having a full-on conversation. And doing this, I think it also, you know, this way leaves little room for arguments or you know, deep disagreements.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and never have a conversation, especially with this type, trying to be vulnerable and also trying to get to know your significant other. Um, Never have a conversation that turns to an insult. I mean,
Mm.
that's well, you were dumb for doing that. No, don't say that.
No, that's how
Well, how?
stupid that person.
Yeah, how stupid can you be? You couldn't see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no insulting, um, because each of us don't know what the other person is thinking or what they're feeling, and only we can only verbalize what we're actually feeling. We can't really pinpoint it. We can't really express it. So, you know, I thought that why would you think that? Uh, because that's what I was thinking.
Right.
So um, we each think differently. We each process information differently.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, whatever the information is, we process it differently, and um, and just have that open, uh, allowing the individual to express who they, what they really are, their insecurities, their vulnerabilities, the questions that they're wanting to know. You know, they're just questions. They're not interrogation. It's not an interrogation time. It's a question time.
Yes, exactly. And I think too, you can make it fun as to where you want to, you know, make it fun. Have a date night out. You know, have
Yeah.
a picnic. Go somewhere quiet. Go somewhere different. You know, a place where you're not going to be disturbed by crowds. Um,
A
and
neutral place.
yes, yes, I think so. And have a good set of ears on. Turn off the volume, right? So you can hear everything.
Yeah.
Another thing too, I've read, and it makes a bit of sense, is that person may not be able to answer all at once, or may get pretty vulnerable, or it may, you know, something might come up that is stopping them from actually
Mhm.
expressing. Let that be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it could still be a sore point.
Mm,
Um, then you don't. One thing that you don't want to speak is pain. You don't want hurt to talk. You don't want pain to um, take over the reins in speaking, because if you look back, Um, with arguments with your significant other, pain is actually talking,
Mm,
hurt is talking, anger is talking. So there are certain words that are said that you can't take back because anger is speaking. And when hurt is speaking, the intent is to hurt the other person. So you don't want hurt to talk. You don't want hurt to start taking over. So you know, when the question is posed and the significant other says, it's still raw, leave it.
exactly. And be discerning. Be mindful.
Yeah.
Really know. Use your intuition. Use that gut feeling. Does it feel
Hmm.
right now? Should I ask now? Or should I just stop now? And if that person wants to continue talking, well, then hold space. And
Yeah.
one important thing, and I say this to gentlemen, the men particularly, is try and not fix anything,
Yeah.
because it's not about fixing,
No, it's about listening.
about listening. Yes, about
Yes.
listening, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes a hug or "I'm here for you" is all a woman wants to hear, particularly a woman, rather than trying to fix it. Because I think, particularly men and women, some women can get into that role as well, trying to fix things. It's not only the men.
Hmm.
And men feel a little bit, bit emasculated sometimes if a woman is trying to fix
Hmm.
him all the time. Yeah, so just just be,
Yeah.
just be.
Just be.
Right. Wow. Well, this has been quite interesting, hasn't it? It's been quite a
Yeah.
deep conversation in how well do you know your significant other. And I think this is a great way to start thinking about what more would I want to know about my significant other. You
Yeah.
know? And it doesn't have to be about the past. It can also be about future plans.
Future.
Let's not forget the future, because he or she may be having these plans that you are totally not aware of.
Hmm. Hope it includes you,
Yeah,
huh?
I was going to say that, because the fact that you don't know, the plans may not include you. So,
Yeah.
knowing future plans and, using the we word. Are we going to be doing this? Is this something we'd like to do together?
Yeah. Yeah. Conversation. And like what you said, and you said it very well, you will never know.
No. So stop thinking you do. Right?
You will never know because, we have our own thoughts, we have our own demons that we deal with, we have our own, um, traumas that we're still dealing with that we haven't really expressed or told anyone. We have some secrets within us, that we don't tell, and we just keep it to ourselves. So if we do that, then of course a significant other does it as well. So keep that in mind. What you do, what you keep, the secrets that you keep.
Yeah. Isn't there a song about that, The
Yes.
Secrets That You Keep, or is it a movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The secrets that you keep when you're talking in your sleep. Yes.
Ah, I remember. I
Yeah.
remember a song like that. Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. All right, Zanetta, thank you so much for coming on the show today
Yes.
and sharing
Thank you.
about yourself and what you've gone through, and getting to know, your significant other. And I think too, when you have also a few relationships, and particularly you had one that was 25 years, that was a
Hmm.
long time. I guess that's all a learning curve, because obviously this time round you've, you know, done it totally different because you've learnt from what you didn't do or did do that you shouldn't have done, or not say shouldn't have done, but could have done differently in this relationship. So nothing
Yes.
is wrong or right. It's just an experience, all part of
Yes.
the learning curve you.
Yes.
Getting to know your significant other.
Yeah.
All right. So, last message you want to say to the audience?
Yeah. So, it's okay to not know,
Hmm.
certain things about your significant other. And it's okay for them to say, well, I don't want to talk about that. You know, it's it's all okay. Um, Getting to know, the mystery, to go along with the journey, because you'll never know the day that will come when they'll say, I'm ready to talk.
Mm, absolutely. All in the timing. Just
Yes.
trusting the process. Trusting the process. And if the love is there, well, it's only going to make you stay together and grow together. And, even the challenges become amazing and magical at
Yeah.
the same time.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for chiming in. Any questions, anything you want to know, anything you'd like us to talk about, please leave a note in the thread there. Be sure to subscribe to the Gentleman's Square. And yeah, we will see you in the next video. Until then, send you love and send you passion. Bye for now. Thanks, Aneta. Bye.
Thank you, Sufanya.